We begin with breaking news out of Norway. This year's Nobel Peace Prize has been awarded to a women's rights activist currently in jail in Iran.
The Norwegian Nobel Committee has decided to award the Nobel Peace Prize for 2023 to Narges Mohammadi for her fight against the oppression of women in Iran and her fight to promote human rights and freedom for all.
Narges Mohammadi has campaigned for the abolition of the death penalty, and her award follows over a year of anti-government protests in Iran. Abby Kuadasan is in our London bureau tracking all of the details for us this morning. So Abby, what more can you tell us about this year's winner?
Well, the very first words spoken by the chair of the Nobel Committee was Zan Zindagi Azadi, woman, life, freedom. That rallying cry out of Iran highlighted immediately that human rights was at the center of this year's Nobel Peace Prize. And Berit Reiss-Andersen, the chair that we just heard from, calls this year's winner, Narges Mohammadi, the undisputed leader of the movement in Iran in fighting the oppression of women in her country and her efforts to promote human rights for all. Now, it's been just over a year since Mahsa Amini was detained in Iran for allegedly not wearing her hijab properly, and her subsequent death in police custody sparked massive nationwide protests. As we saw, Mohammadi has been arrested just over a dozen times. She's been convicted on multiple charges, sentenced to more than 30 years in prison and 154 lashes. Unlike the other Nobel recipients this year, she had no chance to respond to her prize. She may not even know that she's been named this morning, and that's because, as you mentioned, at this moment she's being held in the notorious Evin jail. A letter, though, that she'd written was smuggled out recently. It included these words: "Women will not give up. We are fueled by a will to survive, whether we are inside prison or outside." And she goes on, "But our struggle will continue until the day when light takes over darkness and the sun of freedom embraces the Iranian people." Andersen says the committee's only signal with this decision is for governments and regimes to listen to their people.
This prize is first and foremost a recognition of the very important work of a whole movement in Iran with its undisputed leader, Narges Mohammadi. We hope that it is an encouragement to continue the work in whichever form this movement finds to be fitting.
Members of Mohammadi's immediate family are living in exile. Her brother has now said he's overjoyed by today's news, but she hasn't seen her husband or children in years. She isn't even permitted to speak to them over the phone. And now it was the women of Iran who were hailed as the heroes of 2022 by Time magazine last year, and now one of them is a Nobel Peace Prize recipient.
Abby, thank you for this. Of course, we'll be watching for reaction to this win throughout the morning. We appreciate this, though. Abby Kuadasan for us there in London.